I've got one heart, burst into flames, firecrackers running through my veins. And what if it breaks? And what if it shatters away, disintegrates? What if it breaks? I've seen too many sparks turning into broken hearts, seen too many wounds, all inflicted by you. And what if it breaks? What if it shatters away, disintegrates? What if it breaks? Oh, could you help me? Could you tell me the truth? Could you tell me?
Welcome to the Everything Sparkle Show. It's our 1-year anniversary, which I am so excited. That means I have done this for a whole year. You guys have watched. I have never worn the same outfit twice. Props. And I want to wish my friend, Emily Shepard, my best friend in the whole world, a happy birthday. She is 1,000,000 years old. Oh, look, that's my Emily. And she's a big supporter of Everything Sparkle. She watches it and makes fun of me, and no, she gives a great feedback and tells me what we can do, and is just a very strong supporter of the show. But she's one of my besties. It's her birthday tomorrow, and she's younger than me. I was just joking about the 1,000,000 years old, but she's in LA. I miss her so much. One day she'll be on here making fun of me. I don't know if we want that. Happy birthday, Emily. Oh my gosh. So with us today, we're starting the day with a very special guest that I've wanted on my show forever, Sloan.
Hi.
You're going to tell us some serious stuff, but you're very funny. So
I am.
You could be funny too.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, you look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
What, tell us, when did you first discover that you had breast cancer?
I first discovered back in December of 2018.
2018. And you, take us through the journey about skipping the one.
Okay, so I had my mammograms regularly since the age of 32, all the way till 2016.
Every year.
Every year, yes.
A lot of us do not do that.
Yes, until 2016, and I skipped the whole year of 2017.
Okay.
So
The year I met you.
Yes. So I scheduled the following year, November of 2018, right after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. And by that next Monday, I got a call that said, something's suspicious, you need to come in for an ultrasound. And within a week, I found out I had breast cancer.
And what stage?
I was stage 2, grade 3, invasive ductal carcinoma in my right breast.
Oh my. How scary. So what was like the first thing you did? Did you call your mom? What'd you do?
I cried. I went out to the car and I cried. It's a very devastating thing to hear that you have cancer, because when you think in the big picture, cancer kills. So without knowing treatments and, you know.
You knew about as much as cancer as the rest of us.
Right. You know, you think of movies where people are sick and dying, and I'm like, I'm going to die. This is it. I'm
and
done.
you were by yourself, I assume. You went to the doctor's appointment by yourself.
For the ultrasound, yes. Yes.
Did you tell anybody when they saw suspicious behavior? Yeah, I'm going to go back to the doctor. There's something suspicious.
You know, I had told my family and my boyfriend at the
knew.
time, I think, and
Okay.
my niece went with me because
Okay.
after the diagnosis, backtrack a little bit, I did have to have a biopsy. So my niece did go with me to that, which I bless her heart, because that was not a fun thing to go through.
I bet.
Yeah, I was just devastated. I was very, very devastated.
Okay, so take us through work. You had just gotten a new job.
I
How
had-
long was it that you'd been at this job?
I started the new job in May of 2018, and it was now December of 2018, so 6 months.
And then you told them, I have cancer, I need to take a little
Right.
time off.
I did.
And they were cool initially.
They were cool initially, yes. Everything was fine. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that the treatments would take their toll on me the way that they did. And I was just unable to go back to work within a time frame that worked for them.
So you did your treatments. How many treatments did you have?
I had 14 treatments altogether.
Wow.
That consisted of my first round of chemotherapy was every other week for 4 treatments, and that was adriamycin cytoxan, which, if you know or hear anybody speak of breast cancer, a lot of women, they call it the red double. It is one of the more potent, I believe. They can't even put it through the IV machine. It has to be the adriamycin part. It has to be pushed through a huge syringe. They have to push it through. Well, I had a port here, so.
Oh my.
And then I got about a week off from that, and I started my treatment back in March of 2019, March 11th exactly. So around the 1st of April, I started Taxol, and that's every week, once a week, for 10 weeks in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, you lose your hair, you lose your eyelashes, your eyebrows, your self-esteem. You get chunky because they're also giving you steroids to keep you from being ill. And those they really take a toll on your body.
You know, and I'm shocked. I have to say this, though. I really am shocked at how great you look.
Oh, well, thank
Because
you.
on the film, you're like, oh, I gained weight. I look like this and that. You look great. You look slim. You
Thanks.
look healthy. How do you feel now?
I still have some after effects. I get tired very easily. I have bone aches. I have neuropathy. This is the first time I've actually worn wedges in over a year.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Now I feel special.
But, I mean, overall, I'm trying to just push forward and move on. I did just have a breast reconstructive surgery last week on Thursday, so just a week
What
ago.
a trooper. This is amazing.
And everything's going to come together, and I can put that in the past. But, it'll always be an experience that I hope in the future I can help other women when they're scared, nervous, I just want to be able to be there for somebody else.
And explain getting the double mastectomy and how your doctors felt about all that. Explain that process.
Oh, okay. So the double mastectomy, I already knew at my diagnosis that that's what I wanted for myself.
Which one had the cancer?
My right.
The right one, okay.
So I already knew that's what I wanted for myself, and I met with the breast surgeon, and they wanted to push only having a unilateral, because their theory is, why mess with the perfectly good breast? There's nothing wrong with it. Why even mess with it? Because when you're dealing with breast cancer, they do tell you that your chances for it reoccurring are the same whether you do unilateral or mastectomy or not returning at all. Mm-hmm. Because breast cancer can return, even though I've had a double mastectomy, it can return in other parts of your body.
Correct.
But it will be breast cancer. It might show up in your liver, but it's breast cancer, or your bones. but it's breast
Interesting.
cancer.
How does
Yeah.
that make it? Okay. How does that make it breast cancer? Is there a certain cancer that's in your breast that
Yes.
can't be in other places, but then it can move?
Yeah, it can move.
Okay.
It can move. And I do believe, I'm not quite sure about the brain, but I do believe it's bones, liver, lungs, and brain for breast cancer. Those will be other places that it would reoccur in your body if you've had a double mastectomy.
So you could say, I have breast cancer in my liver.
Yes.
I have breast cancer
I currently have a girlfriend right now. Her name is Paula, and hers metastasized. She's a stage 4, and it did spread to her liver and to her spine.
Wow. That is just,
But it's breast cancer.
oh my. Did you make a lot of friends in the cancer world now that you're one of them? Is
I
it like
absolutely
the
did.
club you don't want to be a part of, but you're a part of and you're
Yes.
close? Okay.
I absolutely did. Lots of ladies, when you go in for treatment at your infusion center, you just,
You bond.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do bond. Unfortunately, when you're going through breast cancer, I just realized this last night that even when I was out and about when I could be, I always talked about my breast cancer. It was like the big topic, my breast cancer. And just through that, other people overhearing conversations or whatever, I've also, made friends, and I have friends of friends who call and say, hey, I know somebody who just got diagnosed. Can you please talk to her? She's scared.
That's amazing. You took on like this role. You just because you just took it on.
I mean, and it's funny because I am on a lot of Facebook breast cancer support groups, and I love to just throw out my experiences, let these girls know that it's not as scary as you think. Like, I think one of the biggest things for breast cancer victims is when you go in and you get diagnosed, you have your surgery, you find out you're losing your breasts. That's the number one. But then the next is you move on to chemotherapy and you find out you're going to lose your hair. And for me personally, that was more of a downer than the fact that I was going to have chemotherapy. Just losing my hair, losing my eyebrows, my eyelashes.
And that's more real almost than your breast because that's the first thing you see in the mirror. You can like go the whole day without actually like looking at your breast, but you can look at this.
Yes. And it was very hard because I just looked, a few weeks back, I looked at some pictures of when I was actually going through treatment, and I didn't really realize how bad I looked until I looked back. I'm so far gone. I'm not so far gone.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You're so far removed from it. That.
I was like, wow, I really did look sick. Wow. And I didn't notice it because I saw myself every day.
You just get used.
You do.
You get used to the new
You do.
stuff.
You get used to it. The surgery was rough. The chemo was rough. The radiation, I had burns from about here all the way here. They were horrible. And then this was my last step, my reconstructive surgery, and hopefully I'm going to heal and move on and be a cancer survivor warrior.
How long did you know when you were out of the I know you're never like completely out of the woods. When did you know that you were out of the woods as much as you were hoping to be out of the woods?
I think for me personally, it was the last day of my chemotherapy, which was July 15th of 2019.
Okay.
I don't think you ever are really going to feel like you're out of the woods because, once you're faced with cancer and you get a diagnosis, it can always come back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you do. You can eat right, not smoke, not drink, take care of yourself, run 20 miles a day, and it can come back. That day that I got to ring the bell, I honestly, the feeling of I'm cancer free.
How amazing.
But I still had radiation to go through. And when radiation was over, that was really hard because now you're like, oh my gosh, there's no more treatment. What's going to happen now? Like, is it going to instantly come back? I'm not in treatment. I wanted to go back to chemotherapy.
Nobody's looking. No one looks at you, but they don't care like you're well. So it's you can't just always every week go to the doctor and be like, check me. Huh?
Another scary thing for me too was once you graduate from chemotherapy, you see your oncologist once a month. Then you graduate to every 3 months. Then you graduate to once a year. And it's scary because I trust, they do blood tests that can detect if the cancer has returned.
Right.
But it's really scary because there's no, I've never had a lot of ladies get PET scans, and I've never had one. And I always felt like, why aren't you giving me a PET scan so I know for sure that the cancer is gone?
But why won't they give you a PET scan?
I guess in my case, the cancer would be too microscopic for a PET scan to pick up.
Okay.
So it would be like doing it for no reason. And obviously, when you do extra things such as scans, CT scans, PET scans, those also can cause cancer. So.
Oh my. And so tell us a little bit about your financial situation because you had to take more time off than you thought from your new job.
Yes. So in June of 2019, I was actually let go from my job, but I was still going through chemotherapy and I was ill. So there was no way that I could have gone back to being a full-time employee. I was living off of state disability and, being a normal functioning person who has worked since I was 14. I was living on a fixed income, and I had medical bills rolling in, and you have credit card bills, and you got to put gas in your car because you have 18 million doctor's appointments every week. I had to put groceries on the table. My mom was helping me, living with me. I had to make sure the electricity was paid. It was a very, very rough time for me, and it still is because I haven't found a job yet, and my last surgery was kind of a hindrance, because I didn't really want to start a new job and then be like, oh, hey, got to be out for 6 weeks because I'm having reconstructive surgery.
Exactly.
So by the grace of God, I have two dear friends, Julie and Jason Watkins, and they gifted me the most precious gift this past week. And thank you guys. I feel blessed because they're two working people who have a mortgage and have children and have car payments. And they gifted me a very substantial amount to help me get through.
Oh, thank God. Thank you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was in my house was in foreclosure, and it took an act of Congress for me to work. I worked every day with my mortgage company to try and get it out of foreclosure, and yay, it worked out for me. My house is safe. Everything's good.
Oh, thank goodness.
Everything's looking up. So I'm just, trying to get back to being normal.
And we have a HOW event coming up, Helping One Woman. For those of you guys that don't know about it, they put it on once a month. Fresno puts on one, Clovis puts on one.
Yes.
You are going to be awarded the Clovis one on February 25th?
Yes.
Okay. I think we have do we have a flyer yet for that?
We
don't.
They just sent me
just
the
today?
rough draft today. So they haven't posted it yet, but it
Okay.
should be up within a couple days. And
We'll post it on my
yes,
page as well.
Please do. Thank you.
So the 25th at the Point at 6 p.m.
Yes.
So those guys, remember, put it on your calendars right now if you have it. It's the 25th at 6 p.m. at the Point. And tickets, though, can people get tickets last minute?
I'm not really sure if you can. I do believe that you have to get them in advance.
Because what if we just want to help?
I do believe that people can just show up. I mean, I don't think you're obligated.
I think, yeah. So we might not be obligated a seat, we might not have a seat, but then you can show up and give donations.
Yes.
And then also, what if people want to donate to you now? I know you had a GoFundMe page set up. Is that deactivated?
I did have a GoFundMe page. I have not checked on it in quite some time because it never generated.
After a certain point.
Yeah. So I might have to get back to you on that. I mean, I have.
We'll keep things posted on my site so you guys could be informed. And then, maybe with the HOW event too, we could see how we could still
Yes.
put in some checks to them that it gets to you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
But I know
would
me and
love
my
that.
mom bought our tickets.
Oh,
So we're very excited to come support you on
awesome.
Tuesday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. I can't even believe that I'm an honoree. It's amazing. I mean, the blessings are just, they're coming.
Well, you're so inspirational. I mean, I think it's just, your personality is
thank
really,
you.
I mean.
I don't think I've been quite as humorous today, but.
I think you're great. I do want to talk a little bit about your dating life, or is that something you don't want to talk about?
No, let's
just so
talk
people
about
who
it.
are going to go on. I've actually never talked about anybody's dating life on the show. This is the first time, but I just wanted people to know kind of what had happened with the whole cancer thing. and
Okay,
going through
so at the beginning of my diagnosis, I had been dating somebody, but only for a couple months. And it was awkward because I had to sit this person down and say, hey, look, I just found out I have breast cancer.
it. Were you guys living together?
No,
Okay.
no. You can either stay or go. He chose to stay. He literally went through the whole breast cancer treatments, illness. I mean, almost the entire year. And as soon as I got better, he chose to break off the relationship.
Oh my.
And I do look back on it now, as upsetting as it was. I think when you're actually the cancer patient, you don't understand what a toll it takes on somebody
person.
who is a partner of a person who has cancer. And a good friend just told me this. In order to go through something life-changing such as cancer, the person that's with you honestly has to be your soulmate, because cancer will make or break. And in my situation, it broke the relationship. So I'm single, ready to get out there. So
Well, we do have a Valentine's Day party coming out.
Oh.
There's people that, as for singles, it's a mixer. It's like on the 13th.
oh,
the day before
awesome!
Valentine's Day.
I'm game. I'm game.
I actually had you guys at the same time. Thank you so much, Sloan. And I'm hoping that there is a book somewhere in the future.
Me, I would love that. My biggest goal for the future is, whether it be a job or just volunteering, that I can just help people with their prognosis. Let them know it's not that scary. Let them know don't fear chemo. Let them know you're going to be okay and you're going to live.
And we have your email up. You don't want to give out your Instagram or Facebook?
Oh,
that's fine. So if you guys do want to make personal donations or just check up on her or get her Facebook or Instagram information, go to her email address and send her, because you'll get motivational quotes if you're going through it or know someone going through it.
Yeah.
Because
I'm here. If anybody ever
so
needs
that's
to
a
talk.
job you've taken on.
I have.
So
I love it.
Appreciate that.
I love to help someone feel better in the end with their prognosis, because I thought it was the most scariest thing, and here I am. I'm done.
And you look amazing.
Thank
I'm
you.
seriously in a state of shock. I mean, I know I've seen pictures and stuff, but you actually look. You look amazing right now. Like, we can go out in the town and people are gonna be like, "This woman was
let's
sick
go.
like a year ago," or no, you were sick 6 months, less than like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You were sick.
Yes.
Wow, this is amazing.
I'm rocking my rock star do here.
You look so great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Oh, I appreciate you having me. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to helping people and seeing people at my How dinner. And
Yes, go to How, February 25th.
And I am looking for a job too.
Yes. Hi everyone, I am Sparkle Sujin with the Everything Sparkle Show. Tune in every Thursday live at 4 p.m. You will see people that are motivational, inspirational, inspiring, and of course, entertaining. We have a great time. We learn things about how big celebrities are inspiring big names here in Fresno. Hugh Hefner is the reason we have Fresno Magazine, and Gnarly Charlie got his start because Johnny Carson told him to. So, tune in, you'll learn something new, and have a good time.
Highlights, balayage, color, extensions, cuts, pure Brazilian blowouts, treatments. Contact Jordan Myers at Hair by Jordan.
Did you know most hair and beauty salons in the Central Valley are not disposing of their chemicals correctly? Partner with us today to become an eco-friendly salon. Visit us online at greenbeautywaste.com. Our phone number is 559-367-7206. And be sure to visit us on Instagram and Facebook at Green Beauty Waste.
Is everything in life draining you? Come to Stretch 360. Our professional staff can offer you many options for relaxation like deep tissue or hot stone massages, infrared medical grade sauna. Once you leave us, you'll look and feel like $1,000,000. Stretch 360. Relaxation is only a stretch away.
Welcome back to the Everything Sparkle Show. I just want to point out my bracelet from J Bloom. She's been on the show before, Denise from J Bloom, but she made me a special one for last night's movie premiere that I went to. It is so pretty. So if you guys want J Bloom, look it up. Look up J Bloom on my Instagram or Facebook. Her name's Denise Paulson. So you can look up J Bloom or Denise Paulson. But with us, switching gears to something not anything like jewelry, Rob Vargas from Vargas Studios. Oh my gosh, this man.
Thank you.
The mature viewers only right now.
Right.
What made you get into making dead bodies? I'll just get right out and say it.
I know, right? It's so creepy. People ask me, so what is it you do? I go, I do special effects makeup. And you're like, so do you do clown faces and for carnivals and stuff for birthdays? No, that's something completely different. No, I just I do special effects makeup for film commercials, music videos and such. And
photography too sometimes, right?
Some photography,
but not really because they ad lib that. No, they do.
I will help to assist in certain things, like a lot of times if it's a photo, they'll use a little bit of Photoshop to enhance certain things for advertisement. But the bulk of it, when they really need something, I will go ahead and do the majority of the work, and they'll go in and tweak it.
Oh my!
Oh yeah!
I'm like, wait, this is normal. There we go.
Yeah, that's
the Rob Vargas I know, making people creepy.
Oh yeah, that was one of my first gigs. Actually, my first time actually doing something in L.A. It was a last minute thing called Dinner with the Brewers. It was, I want to say 6 years ago almost.
What was it for?
It was for a director named Edward Payson. I think it was just a short that he was trying to get done. I actually haven't seen the finished project. A lot of the things I work on, I rarely get to see them. They just come and go. But I did the. It was supposed to be a dinner scene, and the gentleman in the middle gets murdered, and it's Felicity Rose on there, and it was the first time meeting her. And
wow, she's pretty.
Yeah, I've run into her a couple more times since then, but that's one of my first true gigs, and I think that one I'm just like whatever, because had no sleep. I think I had 2 hours of sleep from working on one set here in the Valley, Fresno, and then the next day we had to go down to LA to do that shoot, and we did all the effects right there and then. And
wow. Oh my. But okay, so
yeah, that was another one. Actually, that's supposed to be that was another film I did with Devin Penn, and first time working with her, and there was a scene there. She is.
Okay, how do you do this? Is there a book to tell you every step of how to make people look like this? Is it part because you've been doing this for so long, you know what to do? How do you look at me and be like, I'm gonna make you look like that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you just have to explain.
No, it's I get contacted by a director or a DP or whomever it may be, a producer, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this film. We have an idea for an effect. What do you think you could do for us?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, budget. What's your budget, and what is your talent willing to do? Are they skittish? Because sometimes if we have to do like a whole head cast." That can be claustrophobic to some people. They just like, I can't have stuff on my face. I'm freaking out. So a lot of the times, I have to look at the effect, determine on budget, and tell them this is what I can do. And if you want anything else more to that, you're gonna have to be flexible with me and work with me, because the stuff that I do is not cheap. This is not cotton balls and latex and toilet paper glued to the face with growing up like in Halloween, and so this is work that it has to be under heavy scrutinization, heavy cameras on it, all angles.
How do you become so good at it? Like, I mean, I know I took stage makeup in college. I got to see in it, but I can't do stuff like that. How does your mind compute to make things look the way they're supposed to look? Because there are a lot of studying and research, experience. How do you get to that
It's
point?
a combination of two things. One, my parents were cool enough to let me watch some gory movies, scary movies, growing up as a kid. So I saw that, and I never was scared of it. I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty cool. That's neat." And then I was like, "Well, how did they do that?" I was a very curious kid.
It's kind of like magic. Being a magician.
And I did have a magic kid growing up, and basically special effects is tricking the audience into seeing what you want them to see.
Right.
It is magic. It is movie magic.
Magic.
So I watched a lot of movies, and behind the scenes, like, that is so cool. And then my dad was actually in medical school, and he had his medical books, and he would let me read through them, so I get to see all kinds of like human anatomy and stuff, and check it out. And I was like, oh, so that's what the human muscle looks like.
Wow.
And this is what
So
the bones.
you did do some research. This is so
At a
fascinating.
very young age, yes.
Wow.
At a very young age, I looked at that stuff and I was fascinated. And when I would see Halloween makeup, for instance, I would like, that's not what a human body looks like inside. That's not this. And I would make it more realistic. And I'm a very hands-on person. And when I'm doing something that's really gory, I have to make sure it is exact. I have to make sure that whatever I saw in the medical books or any kind of the references, like even the news, sometimes even back in the day, was kind of gory. And I look at it and go, that's what that looks like.
So
and I try to imitate it.
Your job was studying a lot of horrible pictures.
Oh, even to this day,
Your poor wife, who should come on right
even
now.
to this day, it's something that I think every effects artist does. And it's part of our job. We have to make it look realistic. I mean, sometimes there's movie real, and then there's real. Sometimes real bodies and gore doesn't look real. The body changes, it gets bloated. There's a lot of stuff that happens.
So have you gone to see the cadaver and all that dead body stuff?
I have yet to do that. I know there's certain programs you can go. Like there's like a farm in Texas where they have like a cadaver farm, and they use for like FBI agents and stuff to study how the body reacts to certain environments and stuff. You can actually go there. There's places we can go to view autopsies and stuff like that. I have yet to do that. That's something that
Your dead bodies look amazing. Do we have that one of the head or not? I'm not going to give too much away. Did he not let us use that?
No. I'm unfortunately, the one you're talking about is we did it for another film that I'm currently still working on. That's why I can't really show it. We had to do a whole head cast of
So all of us that knew who the actor was, we saw the head and we knew that it was that actor because it was that good. And we knew it was him. And that was not him at all. It was a complete made-up head that you created.
Yeah.
Did you mold his head?
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, if I'm lucky enough to get a hold of the talent, then, and again, budget-wise, we set the actor down and they said, well, we need this gruesome death where his head just basically gets messed up. And I'm like, okay, how realistic do you want it? And they're like, really realistic. I'm like, okay. And so we sat him down. We put a silicone on a liquid silicone, and it makes every impression. Like I don't know if people have dentures or braces.
The mouth. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they put that stuff in their mouth. That's an alginate, but you can still use that today. But I like using silicone. But it will take every impression, every pore, wrinkle, freckle of your face, and then
every pore, really,
it picks up
every wrinkle.
It picks up every detail. Even if you have a scar that's faded, it will still pick it up in the silicone. And it's a lot of molding, remolding, casting. There's a show that was on the Sci-Fi Channel called Face Off. And if you ever watch that show, that's pretty much what I do. It shows a lot of the casting, the molding, the makeup effects.
I mean, I know you're a special effects artist, but you're an actual art. You're making something you're like molding something out of.
Yeah.
Well, it's not clay. What are you using? What do you?
Well, no, there's clay involved. There's
okay.
A lot of projects. Let's say, like, if I were to do a disfigurement makeup on you or something, like, or I say like a Hunchback of Notre Dame, and they want it to look perfect on you and want it to fit you.
Yeah.
I would have to make a mold of like your face, have a perfect replica of you just standing in a neutral position. Then I would slap clay on that and sculpt it and add to it, maybe droop the lips a little bit more, the eyes, the nose. Then I'd make a mold out of that. And then I can pour silicone in there, and then depending if they want it to be a mask or they want it to be a silicone prosthetic, they want it to be made out of foam latex. Sometimes you can't use foam latex. People are allergic to latex. And
that's right, yeah.
And so there's a lot of things you have to know. There's just not one type of makeup.
This is a science. You're like science and art at the same time.
It really is. There's it's not just okay one silicone. Sometimes you just open up and we just use it. You have to mix parts A, part B. Sometimes a little bit of deadener. Deadener is a substance that makes the silicone really soft, or you can make it more dense, make it really hard silicone. There's pigmentations. There's a flocking you can add to it that adds like capillary veins inside the silicone to give it that realistic look. There's a ton of different things you can do in these makeups, and it's a lot of work. It's time consuming, a lot of research. But if your heart's in it and you really want to do this, it's possible. I've had people hit me up on Facebook a lot of times or Instagram saying, "Hey, here's my work. I want to do some stuff for you." And unfortunately, I have to kind of like, well, I look at their work. I'm like, it's good, but I'm sorry, you're just not at that level yet. It's hard to try to find people at a certain level I'm looking for to be on.
Why don't you do a class?
You know what? Actually,
You're thinking about it, huh?
yeah, actually, we've been myself and my partner Amber. She's another effects artist. She's really good for hair and makeup and doing beards and mustaches, and she does some prosthetics herself.
Nice.
She's really, really good, and she's having a shop made, and she was thinking about having a workshop one day to get it up and running.
I'd love that.
And we want to have it. We want to have people come there just to learn a few things, and because we've been getting busy, she and I, with bigger projects.
Did you go to school at all for this? You're all self-taught.
No, you know what? I'm all self-taught.
You'd probably
This is-
laugh if you went to my stage makeup. You would have been like, I mean, it's nothing like that.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the story that I told you about how I started, but I was more or less raised by my mother and my aunts. My dad was away. He was in the military. He was in law enforcement, and he was also in the medical field. So it was mostly my mom and I and my little brother and my sister. And I had to basically help my mom take care of everybody, be the big brother and such. And we didn't have a lot growing up. We had enough to live comfortably, but there wasn't like, oh, Mom, I want this, I want that, and just splurge and get whatever I wanted. And I knew how hard she was working. There wasn't anything that she wouldn't do for us. There was times where, she didn't have enough money to get us all food. So she would buy, there's a story where she had to buy, I think, one hamburger at the time at a McDonald's or something. And she split up for all three of us could have something. And I looked at her and go, Mom, you hungry? And she's like, oh, that's okay. I already ate. But I already knew damn well she didn't eat. But that's the kind of person she was. And I saw my mom, how much, she was trying. And she loved us. And I was like, you know what? I didn't want to be that person and say, Mom, I want this. And why are you doing that? And how come I can't have this? I knew. So when Halloween came around, which was my favorite holiday,
I bet.
I'm looking at all the costumes, window shopping. I was a good kid. I didn't, grabbing and stuff, and I just kept my hands to myself. But I'm looking at, I want that, and I want this, but instead of asking my mom, I just remember it. That's what that looks like. I'm gonna make that. I can so make that better.
That is so amazing.
So I just,
oh my
so I just learned, and again, raised by my aunts and my grandmother, she taught me how to sew. So I learned how to sew my own costumes.
So all these things came in handy.
Yeah, I actually painted my aunt's fingernails. I did their nails, and I learned how to paint using nail polish and
you've been doing
sewing.
a lot of that.
And my aunt, I think she had Cinemax, and I would watch movies, the horror movies, and then sometimes at the end of the movie, they have behind the scenes special features. Also, Michael Jackson's Thriller. They had the making of Thriller, and I love that. And
that was my first music video I've ever watched.
Right, and
when I was a kid.
But you remember the making of it, right? And it was so amazing, showing how they did the makeup on Michael Jackson. I was like, that's what I want to do in my life. I want to do that. And
that's funny because I was the 80s, and that was actually really advanced at that point.
It really was, and all that makeup was done by effects artist Rick Baker, who's also the first makeup artist to ever win an Academy Award for American Werewolf in London, which is another awesome movie that I love, and another inspiration for. I'm terrified of werewolves, which is funny because.
We won't talk too much.
But there's a project.
A project we're doing that there's a werewolf in.
And it's like
you got to create some stuff for that.
I kind of had to face my fears of doing werewolves. I was like, okay, well, I'm on board, so we'll do that. But seeing things like that, I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do for my life, my career. I want to build and create monsters and edit makeups and costumes and props. And when I started doing that, kids around the neighborhood or cousins or friends were like, hey, who did that? I made it. Could you do mine for next year? This and that. And I started progressing, doing costumes for other people. Then for schools, little plays here and there.
I got to think of something cool for Halloween.
And it just progressed. And again, I like realism. When kids would draw like a tree with a crayon and a piece of paper, they would just draw a stick and little poofy things, and that's my tree. I look at that and go, that's not how a tree looks. The roots come up like this, it angles, it turns, the branches go this way, there's a little space, there's a window where the light comes in. That's how detailed I was as a kid, like 8 or 9 years old. And I took that same artistic eye and put it into my makeups. I see a Halloween costume, that looks cool, but that doesn't look like the way it looked in the movie. The Ninja Turtle does not look like that in the movie. I'm gonna make it the way it looks. And I would, VHS back in the day, rewind, pause, and kill the tapes. But I would try to make my stuff as accurate as I possibly could. And at that young age, I just said, you know what? This is looking good, and I just got to keep on it. So, no, I'm all self-taught. And this is all before the internet.
Right.
I mean, I was looking at Fangoria magazine, which I love that magazine. I was fortunate enough one year for my dad to buy me a subscription to Fangoria for my birthday. And I loved it. Looking at all these pictures, I looked at documentaries. Nowadays, it's so much easier. Everything's on the internet now.
Did you bring that picture with taking the chip out of the neck? Did they tell you no?
No.
Everything I want, they say no.
Yeah,
These directors.
I know. Yeah, that's the problem. I do so much
good stuff
that I'm not allowed to show.
That was so good, though. I mean, well, explain it. You took a chip out of a neck, and then how did you make it?
Yeah, so they wanted to see someone cutting into the side of their head, and they wanted to like push out this
thing
device.
Device from their head.
They wanted to push it out, and they're like, is that possible? How can you do that? I'm like, well, you got a bone right here in the back of your head. You really can't go too deep. I could put a prosthetic, but it's not going to look right, and I don't like blending marks. And so I go, you know what? Let me see what I could do. So I made a whole mold of the side of this person's head, created the whole ear, the skin. We punched in little hairs. My partner Amber, she assisted me in that, and she punched in the hair, and she did an amazing job. And we used real human hair, and we made it sweaty looking, and we zoomed in on it. And when this person cuts this device out, it actually bleeds, and you're squeezing the skin. She's using her hand. She's kind of squeezing it out, using it, and when it cuts together, it looks like she's actually digging into the side of her head and taking this thing out. And it just looked amazing. People were like, oh my God, how'd you do that? And then I show them a close-up, and then I zoom out, and they're like, dude, that looked real. That's amazing. And that's just the level of makeup that I do. And I really don't know if anybody else is doing that here in the Valley. I know there's a lot of talented makeup artists here. Most of it is hair and makeup. But as far as like custom prosthetics and molds and things like that, I don't really know if anybody's doing it. If you're out there, hit me up. I want to see your work. I want to see what you can do.
And we have your information to call on you. About how much would it cost to make like an average Halloween costume? I mean, it varies, but when you sold some Halloween costumes in the past, what's an example?
Well, I think I got one of the directors for the Tremendum Pictures, Chris Loafing. He's I did a Captain America outfit on him. It was funny. It was like a little meme thing I did for him.
This one?
Yes, because their company is Tremendum Pictures.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, hey, he looks kind of like Chris Evans, a smaller Chris
Right.
Evans.
Oh my God.
And I photoshopped his head on Chris Evans' body, but I switched the star with the Tremendum logo. And he was like, dude, that is amazing. I want that costume. So I made him a full Captain America outfit, removed the star, and did that for him. And we did a couple of photos, and he loved it. Well, because he was kind of my boss, I did him a solid just for a Halloween costume. But that's the level of detail that I can do for.
So how much would that cost for someone just calls you tomorrow that you don't know?
It really depends.
Well,
that one right there.
How much would
If
that
I were to
cost?
do it, if a guy was, 'cause Chris, he's a smaller guy. He's shorter than me, so material wise, it was pretty decent. But if we had like a 6 foot tall guy with a Captain America outfit, To be honest, it'd probably be somewhere in the like $2,500 range. Maybe more. It just depends on availability of materials, and do I have more access to them. So it all depends. It's not cheap. That's all I could say. I wish I could do everything cheap for everybody.
We can.
I wish I can do it all the time, but I really can't. It's the materials. Sometimes I have a problem with not charging people for my labor, which that's going to change real soon.
Because that takes so much time. I can't. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I love doing what I do. And I
know.
wish I could do it for everybody. I just can't.
And you do stuff in LA too when you're calling.
Yeah,
out.
I would never live in LA. It's a little too crazy for me.
But you can go over there and travel.
But
and do
when
stuff.
they call me, I am there and I will show up.
You guys got his info. Let's get a hold of him. I am so glad you're here, Rob. This is like, well, you're like one of the most exciting guests, honestly, with the like most exciting careers that I've ever had on the show.
It's fun. It's fun, but there's been some hard times. You know, sometimes it's like real estate. Sometimes you're selling houses, you're selling
Right.
property, and then sometimes it's just dead, and you're like, well, now what? So it's definitely a struggle. It could be stressful at times, but I love doing what I do, and I can't see myself doing anything else. And I get to meet a lot of interesting people, you know, and like this project, this one we really can't talk too much about. That's where I ran into you and met you. So I mean, it's like it's great. Again, it's one of the best things. I was able to play in a couple of these gigs. I was able to play a firefighter in a commercial. I was a police officer. I think the next gig coming up, I'm going to be a surgeon or something. So it's like I get to dance.
A surgeon is not far off from what you do.
Right. So it's nice just to dip my toe in a bunch of different things, but still have the love for the arts, the makeup, the movies, and again, meeting people like you. It's amazing. I love it.
We're excited to have you. This is the most exciting stuff. The realism, and one day when we're gonna bring you back to show the pictures we couldn't show today.
Oh, yes,
we're gonna bring you back.
Most definitely. I want to do that. One of the biggest films we worked on was The Gallows Act 2, which was filmed here in the Valley.
Yes.
That one, it took forever. I couldn't show anybody because it was. We made it 3 years ago. Yeah, that's the
And you had to wait.
That's the European version, but yeah, we made it 3 years ago, and it took a while. It's me sculpting out the mask, but I couldn't show any of that stuff for the longest time. I could not show it, and now the movie's been released. That was the premiere. We had the red carpet premiere for it, and I wore it came out in October, so it was a breast cancer awareness month. So I went all with the pink.
Sloan's here. This is perfect.
Yeah. So I had the pink tie, I had the pink shoelaces, and I think you can kind of see I got that little arm thing too.
Nice.
But yeah, it was. People say you don't wear color. You're always wearing black. Well, I wear color for that. And
Always wearing black.
Yeah, and in actually April I'll be wearing purple for the Armenian Genocide remembrance for April 24th.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, people don't talk about it, and it's sad. I actually never had an Armenian friend until a few years ago, and I met one. She told me all about it, and she introduced me to the lovely Armenian coffee.
Oh gosh, that's some strong. That'll put hair on your chest.
Yeah, that stuff was good. So we were talking about that. So I was like, that's a really cool story. I want to hear more of it, and you know that needs to get out there. You know, you should write a book or write a movie about it, and that's something like I think it'd be very interesting to do.
That would be.
But again, that's working in this field. You meet people like that. You hear their side of the story. You get to hear their history, and you just meet a lot of interesting people. And I love it. And I want to. There's nothing I will say no to thus far as an effect.
Okay.
And it's like, I want to do this. All right, let's go for it. And I know my friend was just like, you'll fake it till you make it. But you got to make it work. And I love a challenge. And it's amazing. And again, if you guys are out there inspiring to be a makeup artist, it's hard. It's very expensive. And time consuming. It's frustrating. You lose sleep. You're taking other people's money, and then you got to deliver.
Yeah.
If you don't deliver, it's your ass.
Yeah.
And you're like, and people are looking at you. Okay, what's going on, Rob? How come this isn't ready? How long for makeup? And it's very stressful. But at the end of the day, if you know what you're doing, and you deliver an amazing product, the director enjoys it, appreciates it, the DP, the talent, the actors, because you're helping the actor act. You're helping them. You're giving them the
Right,
tools to do
right.
their job, and that's what I love. It's a partnership. It's like, I got you.
Yeah.
What do you need? I want you to feel comfortable. You're like, well, this is itchy or this is that, or I got you. Let me know what you need, and I'll take care of you. And
Thank you so much for coming on, Rob.
hey, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Vargas Studios. Everybody needs to follow him.
Wondering why you aren't here. When did it break? When did it shadow away, disintegrate? When did it break? Where are you now? Where are you now?
The Art of Becoming Who We Are in Christ by Jolene Kennedy is a book about the process of maturity as we find our true identity, since God's promises must be received, embraced, and activated within us. Get your copy today and check out jolenekennedy.com. Fleet Feet Fresno is more than just a running and sportswear store. Fleet Feet Sports' mission is to provide runners and other active Fresnans with gear that fits their individual needs, training that helps them reach their fitness goals, and races that satisfy their competitive spirit. Get to know Fleet Feet Fresno today. When you need to get fit, contact Gary Torres, IFBB Pro, specializing in weight loss, body transformations, and contest prep. Email Gary Torres 5336@yahoo.com.
Hey, I'm Chris DeVold. Tune in every Friday night on CentralValleyTalk.com when I bring you Sex, Drugs, Chris DeVold, where I'll give you 3 guesses on what we talk about. And I also vow to bring you 1 live local music act a week. So tune in every week, because you never know what kind of music you're going to hear right here on CentralValleyTalk.com.
The Space Colony Journals are an epic tale of a family's struggle to survive. Meet the courageous women and dangerous men who dare to carve a home on the alien world of Vensug. Get your copy today. Available on Amazon and Gale Daly's FineArt.com.
You enter this door with expired tags. Beyond is another dimension, a dimension of regulations, a dimension of long waits. You have reached the registration zone. What looks like an ordinary shop is actually Mitchell's Smog, located in the heart of the Tower District, a few minutes from the DMV. Mitchell's Smog offers your vehicle a STAR-certified smog inspection. So remember Mitchell's Smog when you need to pass through the registration zone.
Contact Sarah Hernandez of June and Matte Photography to schedule your portrait, engagement, wedding, or next family photo session. But that's not all. Sarah is also your personal brandographer, helping you ditch the stock photos and get images that sell. Call 559-412-3721. Visit juneandmattephoto.com and follow Sarah on Instagram and Facebook. Give your child the tools to succeed. The Yergubian Academic Center offers one-on-one and group
Many fears, wondering why you aren't here. When did it break? When did it
Hi, welcome back to the Everything Sparkle Show. So with us, we have Moses, who wrote this. And I love this cover, by the way. I love all of it. Explain to us Always With Me.
So Always With Me came about after I had spent 21 years in the hospital. I was always in and out.
21 years. How old are you now?
I'm 31. And so I ended up going to college right after that, dealing with the comprehend everything that happened to me. Went to college for about 4 or 5 years. It was hard for me to graduate. I got an AA degree in a couple of areas. And then I went to the ministry, and as I was helping people, I kind of came to a point, like a spiritual battle in my life, where like, you know what, I need help myself. And I started to reflect what was going on, and I was holding so much in me of what I had went through that I decided, you know, to write it down. And
So what is the physical problem?
so I was born with, when I was in '88, I was born with spina bifida, cleft lip, and hydrocephalus. And for those of you that don't know what that is, spina bifida is basically as your spine is open when you're born.
Okay.
And so when I was born, my gallbladder, you can see it was out, and you can see my spinal cord dangling, and you can see my back muscle. So you could basically see it all. And so they didn't know that at first, but at first they had me in the front, right, when the baby comes out, and my face was badly disfigured. So I have cleft lip, and the cleft lip is the split of the lip.
Mm-hmm.
So I was badly disfigured, so they were in shock when I was born. They're like, wow, you know, we have an ugly baby right here, it's badly disfigured, and that's just the way it was back in those days. And then they're like, well, you have blood all over your hands. And so the nurse looked, and it was all black blood, and they flipped me over, and my spinal cord was open, so right away they put me into surgery to have an urgent surgery, and they didn't think I was going to make it that night.
What was the third thing that you had?
Hydrocephalus. Well,
Okay, I don't know what that is.
so it's basically it's fluid in the brain. You ever see children with the large heads?
Yes.
Well, a lot of because you know the baby's head is very delicate still, and so a lot of the fluid gets in there and it poisons the brain a little bit. So that's how you get brain damage and just different brain problems, and expands the skull. Well, fortunately for me, or however you look at it, well, because I went to surgery right away, you know how they do X-rays and exams and stuff like that. Well, they cut it on early, so my head didn't really get too large. So that they found out that I had hydrocephalus. So after I had life and death surgery, my first one, they went and they gave me surgery again for my hydrocephalus the same week. So I'm having like the surgery the first day I was born, and a couple of days later, and then they did the first process of closing my lip, and closing the cleft lip. So I went through many surgeries, about 19 surgeries growing up, and just thousands and countless of procedures and things like that. So I do about 6 to 7 medical procedures on myself a day. I could do at my home now, and that's how I kind of live day to day. And so I went through all of that, and I went through some medical abuse and just, you know, being made fun of, and just, it was the 80s and the 90s. It was a lot different. Now
It was, yeah.
Now if you're disabled, now they got support groups.
They do, yeah. I can only imagine.
Now you can go on social media. It trips me out. Like, I go on social media and you have people with very severe disorders, and man, people are supporting them and stuff like that. Back in the day when I just go in public, I'll just get ridiculed and make fun of.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think you look great now, and I thought you were younger. Then you told me 31, I'm like...
Oh yeah, well, one of the benefits of being growing up in the hospital was I was always taking, you know, good care of myself, because they always preached that to me, take care of yourself, because I couldn't
Yeah,
die.
you had to.
Yeah, so I was always living from day to day the whole time. And so, and doing that, I was able to keep my, you know, look pretty decent, you know, just to look, eat vegetables and do all the stuff that my nutritionist got. I had like about 12 doctors, more or less.
Wow.
Sometimes 7 on the low end, you know. And so, like, once a year, I'd go and see all 6 to 12 of them, just depending on the year, you know. And they would tell me, all right, you need to have this surgery this year, and you need to have this procedure, and you need to do these certain things. And so it would be like once or twice a year, and you would meet with all the other kids with like your disabilities. And for those that know, I went through Valley Children's Hospital, and they take the worst of the worst, and also with the worst bunch with disabilities. And so I met people with cancer throughout my life, burn unit, anything badly disfigured, anything mental, anything with the legs, spine, basically almost all of it, just about all of it. And so I had kept this inside my heart, and I grew cold-hearted, because when you just get treated like that and you grow up into it, you know, and then the world changes, sometimes it's hard to adapt, you know, you can't believe it because you're so traumatized of what you went through. And so I went through all of that, and I decided just to write it down on a piece of paper. So I wrote down when I tried to commit suicide, and that's how I just tried to hang myself or shoot myself, and how I had an experience with God, and where I decided not to kill myself and just to have my faith in God and believe in Him, and I decided to continue living. And I started reflecting on that, and I wrote that down, and it was only 3 pages. And I was like, well, I did enough, right? Thinking it's not going to go nowhere. And the next day it just kept on bugging me. So I started from day 1, how I was born, and I went to, you know, going throughout the chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, until I was 12 chapters in, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm done. And it was just something I had in my heart, and then I went through depression writing my book, because I had to reopen old wounds.
Yeah,
you
have to relive it.
Relive everything. I had to relive how they were trying to get rid of me because I was Mexican, you know. Because they wanted to take me away from my mom, because they didn't think Mexicans could take care of the babies that are born with disabilities.
Oh my God!
They wanted to send me to a white family, and have them adopt me and stuff like that. And so,
was there not help at the time for stuff like there wasn't medical help, like with the health insurance, wasn't helping you?
Well, at the time, the internet bubble had happened, so there was a lot of money in California. So I was supposed to move to Mississippi. Well, my dad had work over there, but my doctor, fortunately, that was there. So the doctor that tried to get rid of me, to send me to white family, well, he quit because my mom went. She made a fuss over it.
Well,
and said,
good.
And said
Good
no.
for her.
Said no,
Go
you're not.
Mom.
You're not taking my baby or anything. Of that stuff."
Right.
And so she made a fuss about it, and she had to go do like a checkup the next week because I think I just had my surgery or something like that, and he quit. I guess my mom scared him away or something like that because he ended up leaving to some other state and he ended up just quitting like that. And so I ended up getting Dr. Woodward, Meredith Woodward, I believe that's her name, and she's probably still have electricians till this day. And she was from Mississippi, and she goes, "No, you can't go over there." Tell my parents because they're racist over there. On top of that, they don't have the medical facilities, to take care of you. So stay here in California, they can take care of you. And of course, you have to go through all the paperwork and fill all that out so that way the surgery can get paid for. Because the surgery can be easily $80,000 to a couple $100,000. You don't know. So millions of dollars have been spent in my body. So I try to take care of it. For all the doctors, the nurses that that help take care of me. And so I just went and wrote it, sent it to a publishing company that I felt comfortable with, and I ended up going through a whole year and a half of getting the book published.
Wow.
And I just went through it. I was like, I've been through worse in life. I can write a book.
How did you find the right publisher?
So I went to Christian Faith Publishing. So one thing that you gotta look at is the contracts and stuff like that, because you can
Right.
you can fix a bad typo, you can fix even a bad book, but you can't fix a bad contract.
Correct.
So I went to the contracts, and with Christian Faith Publishing, they just wanted commission, 50 cents for every book I sell, just to do the paperwork and stuff like that. And they're like, you can have all the movie rights, you can have all the rights and stuff like that. The only thing is that they're not really going to hold your hand throughout the publishing process.
Correct.
So like, you know what? I'm okay with that. Anything I need to fix, I can just send. It's like $75 to fix it, so it's not much. I'd rather deal with that, and I was getting the lion's share of the royalties, and so I made sure my contract was good. I knew the downside was I would have to upfront it myself, but through prayer, people that came and supported me, they're like, yeah, we'll start the production for you, and so it's basically like they're just helping through the process of getting it done, and it came out real nice.
So where can everyone purchase this book?
So you can purchase on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, pretty much any platform you can be out there. Any digital platform, anywhere, and you just search Always With Me by Moses Macias, and you can read the whole story of what I went through. At least as much as I was willing to be able to tell at the time. Because now that I reflect back, I was like, oh man, I should have wrote more, but I'm working on my second and third book.
Nice. Okay. So what have you been doing since? It seems, you're walking great. You seem to look another healthy person. What, when you said you got a couple degrees, what has been your job since?
So when I went graduated high school, which to me was like a PhD, because I would have to have brain surgery on a Monday and be back the next week and still be bleeding and stuff like that, and still try to pass my classes and things like that. But you learn when you grow up into it, you learn just to troop it out. You learn to just fight it on. And so I went and graduated, and I was like, let me just try college, see what it's like.
Right.
And at that time, when I became a Christian, a born again Christian, I started to go in the ministry. And so I was part-time ministry, and then when I wasn't doing that, I was going to college.
What church do you go to now?
I go to Mendota Pentecostal Church of God.
Nice, okay.
And over there, we help feed the homeless and all these things like that. So if you ever want to just donate to that church, go ahead and donate, because we do a lot for the community in Mendota. And
is that Lonnie's church?
Yeah, no, Lonnie goes to the one in Kerman.
Oh, okay, yeah,
but we're in the same district, same organization,
nice.
So we go and do things together. And
hi, Lonnie.
He's a great friend of mine, And so I started to fall in love with the ministry work because I love helping people, and so because I've just been there myself, and so I went to college, was doing ministry work, and I was on slight disability, so I was able to do that, and I was living with my parents because I just don't know when my medical stuff is gonna go bad. I was never to have a regular job, and so after I graduated, I just started to go full ministry, and I did that for about 4 or 5 years, 4 or 6 years now. I went full ministry, but now I want to try to go in the same ministry, but I want to go into public speaking and writing books now. So moving on, so that's kind of doing now. I'm doing public speaking. You can book me, if you want, so I can tell my story, and also preach, and also do book signings, and so that's what I'm doing now.
Amazing! Oh my, you're so inspirational, Moses. Yeah. So what do you see in your future? You're working on your second and third book, and then what else? So
I would like to speak in every continent and just about most countries. I'd like to go and just spread the message of what I went through, having to go in 19 surgeries, not being able to walk and not be able to talk, and supposed to be slow and all these things, and how I combat that, and how I went through all the struggles, and just telling me, there's still hope in this world, that that there's no reason to give up, not to fight against suicide and depression, all these
Right.
things. Because you go through medical abuse, man, it's pretty awful when you go through that. When I
How's your health right now?
my health is really good right now.
Do you have any more surgeries in your future? Because you look great.
So-
Is there something deceptive we don't see?
I have a bunch of scars. Sometimes I'm bandaged up. Like I left a couple of times just to take care of some medical issues. But
Okay.
compared to how I was before, I'm significantly better. I've been boxing, at the Madota Boxing Club, so I go over
Oh,
there and I
look
box,
at you.
which is another great program you guys can.
That's
do.
awesome. You went from not being able to do anything to now kicking butt, literally.
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair for on and off, and then I was also in crutches and a walker, and I was in braces. But I had to watch the movie. What was it? The one? I forgot the movie, but Tom Hanks. He was he couldn't walk right, and so he held those braces, and he was
Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
Okay.
Forrest Gump. And I was a kid, as a kid, you don't know any better. And I saw him running, and now the scene they're making fun of the throwing rocks at me, and he ran, he broke the braces. I said, I can do that. I go, if he can do that, I can do that. And so I trained myself little by little. I would drag my foot, and it would take forever. And I would try to go outside, and I could only go a few feet, and then back into my class because the bell would ring. And so I did that for a couple of years to the point where I was able to walk on my own. And I drag my feet till this day, but I kind of just train myself where I drag a little bit less, and I wear my shoes out a little bit more, but it's fine. And I'm able to walk now, and I'm able to just take care of myself. And the only surgery I need to have is really my shunt. And that's just whenever it clogs up, I just got to replace it. I haven't had to replace it in about 13 years or so. And so I'm very fortunate I've only had brain surgery 3 times. And most people will have that like in a year, just depending on your situation. And so that's the only surgery I really have to worry about. I could still have jaw surgery, but that's more for aesthetics, I guess. I mean, it could have a function, but it would really be the only last surgery I would have to have, and maybe a leg or surgery or two, but for the most part, I'm fine. And I've just been on top of it and just taking care of my health, and it's very tiring, but it's very worth it, I'm able to go to these things and just tell my story, what I went through.
Well, we're so happy that you told your story here today, Moses, and we can't wait to see your progress. We're all gonna follow you. What's your Instagram? Oh, you have a YouTube.
Yeah, well, my Instagram is Moses_777.
I know it was hard to find you.
Yeah.
It was. So YouTube, you want to subscribe to your YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I go in there.
Perfect.
I make videos on
Oh,
disabilities.
right on. Okay, guys, so that's what we're going to do. Moses Macias YouTube video. Okay, perfect. So now we can keep track of everything you're doing.
Yeah, and I have all my social media on there.
And then you're going to come back with the second book. And then you're going to come back with a third book.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story today, Moses.
Thank you for having me. Lord, when I was born, I was handicapped. When I go to sleep, I'm handicapped. When I wake up, I'm handicapped. And I will always be handicapped. Lord, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm not fully healed from this disability, I'm going to kill myself. Hi, my name is Moses Macias, and this is my book, Always With Me.
Flames, firecrackers running through my veins. And what if it breaks? And what if it shatters away, disintegrates? What if it breaks? I've seen too many sparks turning into
Clovis Community College may be free for you to attend. Call 325-5239 or visit cloviscollege.edu for details. We offer general education classes for transfer and short-term training programs.
When you need to get fit, contact Gary Torres, IFBB Pro, specializing in weight loss, body transformations, and contest prep. Email GaryTorres5336@yahoo.com.
Hey, I'm Chris DeVold. Tune in every Friday night on CentralValleyTalk.com when I bring you Sex, Drugs, Chris DeVold, where I'll give you 3 guesses on what we talk about. And I also vow to bring you 1 live local music act a week. So tune in every week because you never know what kind of music you're going to hear right here on CentralValleyTalk.com.
The Space Colony Journals are an epic tale of a family's struggle to survive. Meet the courageous women and dangerous men who dare to carve a home on the alien world of Venzug. Get your copy today. Available on Amazon and Gail Daly's FineArt.com.
The Saga of Bridget and Amanda by Carol Love Forbes brings to life the struggles of historical women in early America. Find the Saga of Bridget and Amanda on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and order your copy today.